keep on hustling, putting work. Just wanted to catch a message. Stand tall and fight back. Let them know you ain't gotta live like that. Catch a message through the pain, through the hurt. Just wanted to catch a message. Keep on hustling, putting work. Just wanted to catch a message. Stand tall and fight back. Let them know you ain't gotta live like that. Catch a message.
I look around like where the good times at. I just wanna bring the good times back. And if the good die young, why am I still alive? Maybe I deserve that fact. And the stars only shine when the dark come. Got me think about where I got my start from. We the new breed, who are we? We the lost ones. We the generation that embrace it like an art form. Here we go. And if you're sitting in the tight spot, then you in the right spot. Man, I swear to God, I done been there. One shot like stop. Shot on a lot of homies that were here and they vanished in the thin air. Yeah, it's like a roll of the dice. Pay the ultimate price. So do you stand up and fight? Do you throw in the side and say, I'm out, or stand tall and prepare for the fight of your life? See me, I still battle with a...
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Survivor Series. How's everybody doing? I'm going to check the comments real quick. The Survivor Series is a video testimonial series. This is my attempt to create a ripple effect of positivity, offering hope to people out there that are struggling, in short. People that are on this platform are sharing their deepest, darkest moments in their lives in hopes that it helps someone else out there struggling, make it through to the other side. And I have an amazing guest tonight. First off, the Survivor Series is an original product of No More Heroin 501c3. And we're powered today by Prove It Ketones, bioidentical therapeutic ketones. If you're looking to make a change, looking for a healthy supplement, this is it. I've lost 55 pounds, feel amazing. It's like I'm reverse aging. It really is. For my age, I don't look too damn bad after all that I've been through. So my guest tonight is Forrest Lang. He's a Marine veteran. He is a tattoo artist. He is an author of Angel Blue Book, is his most recent project. He is an advocate for mental health and trauma. He had a horrible experience in the foster care system, and he joined the military afterwards, and he came to terms with his trauma, and he found a way to heal through it. He's in recovery as well. He's got long-term recovery. I'm really looking forward to talking with him. We've been friends for a while on Instagram. Anybody that's out there that's a veteran, for one, an advocate that has a project, I want to support you. I want to offer my platform to you so we can reach more people, because you're not alone. I'm not alone. You're not alone. If you're alone, it's by choice. Let's reach out. Let's help one another. Let's spread love and positivity and share this message of hope that's offered to all of us. So with that, I'm going to bring in my guest, Forrest Lang, author of Angel Blue Book. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm good, man. How are you?
It's good to see you, brother.
Good to see you too. Hey, I know we have some veterans listening. I imagine I was in the Navy, so
Navy. Okay, so we're actually shipmates.
Well, sometimes people twist up the Navy corpsman. Sometimes the Marines even do the same thing. I was a corpsman in the Navy, and I worked with Marines.
Thank you for your service, shipmate.
Thanks for yours, shipmate.
I'm a Navy veteran as well. Steffi Michelson is in the comments. I love you, Steph. Janet McClanahan, it's good to see you, my friend. Let's throw up your sober dates real quick, and let us know where you're watching from. If you're catching the live button, you see the live button? This is a live broadcast. Drop a hashtag live. If this button is not here, you're catching the replay. Drop a hashtag replay. All right? Sure do appreciate you guys chiming in the comments.
Yeah, it's nice to know people are there, man.
Absolutely. Cecilia Jones, my friend, how are you? 10, 16, 17. Yeah.
All right.
Steffi Michelson, 7/29/17. She's my hero. She's a really dear friend of mine. She's become like a sister to me. Recovery has given us that, right, Forrest?
Yes, it does.
A family we never actually truly had, because my story, I resonate with your story. Hey, Pam, thank you. 7/25/13. Janet McClanahan coming from Texas. 5/23/18. Look at this. Yeah, I don't know who the Facebook user is. I have to catch the video on Facebook real quick. I want to see who these people are that are not identified by my platform. That's Amanda Marker right there. That's my sister too in recovery.
Oh,
Jen from Peshtigo River. I forgot to mention, I'm coming to you live from Peshtigo River Center in Crivitz, Wisconsin. It is a sober living community for veterans, families, and individuals that are struggling with substance use disorder. This is a beautiful facility. It's in a remote location. It's perfect for recovery, where there's no outside noise, nothing but nature.
That is beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
It is. Janet's watching live. Yes, you are, my friend. So, okay, I will catch up with the comments again here. So thank you guys. Please give us a share if you would, please. Forrest, please give us your background. Where you come from. First off, where are you coming to us from live right now?
I live now in La Jolla, California, with my longtime partner and my daughter. My partner's also in recovery. She's been sober a little over 15 years. I've been sober a little over 21. And we live a recovery life together. All of our friends are in recovery in one form or another, most of them from substances. And I'm coming to you from somewhere beautiful, man. Somewhere I never thought that I would be and never thought I would live. I never thought I'd have the life that I have today.
When I was in the Navy, I was stationed in San Diego, and I always went to the Hard Rock Cafe in La Jolla. Such a beautiful area.
It is.
There's Ariana. Hi, Ariana. That's Amanda Marker's daughter. She's 11 years old.
Oh.
Thank you for coming on here, Ariana. I love you, even though you think I'm an old man.
You are an old man to her.
I am.
Old man.
So, are you in your shop now? I see a lot of beautiful things in your background.
Yeah.
Would you want to plug your shop in case somebody's in the area and needs work done?
I'm a private studio, man. You know what I mean? People that know where to find me, and I don't do any advertising or stuff like that. I've been, I stay pretty busy with just my clients.
Absolutely. Okay.
17 years.
I'm all about promotion and cross promoting. If you wanted to, I'm here for it.
I appreciate it, brother. It's I will have something. I have something in the works called Whole Heart Tattoo that is a dream and not that far away dream of mine to provide top-notch, custom quality cover-up tattoos to survivors of human trafficking at no cost to the client. And that's something that I'm working together and getting together with a lot of other good minds, strong minds who know the profit sector, and working on ways to fund that. So I'll have my business also funding that nonprofit. So just it's something in the works, and we'll definitely want to plug that out and get the word out.
I'll help you with it. I will help you any way that I can. If there's any veterans on here, if you could please share this live into some veteran groups for us to give some hope to our veteran brothers and sisters out there.
And I guess kind of start there, right? In 2015, I was 15 years sober. Well, I was 14 years sober, almost 15. And I owned a business. I had a group of friends, a plethora of friends, and I was active in recovery, like sponsoring. I had a sponsor at the home group, all that stuff, and thinking that I'm doing all the right things. And I was feeling some heavy duty stress in my life. There was some stress on my relationship and business and finances and as things happen. And I found myself at 15 years clean and sober with a pistol to my head. And I wanted the pain to stop, man. I had
15 years.
I had a fight or flight reaction response, and my resting heart rate was 90 beats per minute. I was having a really hard time sleeping. I had a sober blackout and beat some guy up that swung at me. Some guy who said he was going to rape the girl that was sitting behind me. He was just, sometimes people in a drunken blackout, they say things, and I got real heavily triggered, and probably lucky I didn't go to prison for that. And I was just feeling really in a lot of pain, man. And instead of pulling the trigger, because I have a daughter, I reached out and made that phone call, and I ended up going to a group called Save a Warrior. And I was kind of surprised to learn that a lot of those men and women there were also in recovery, in 12-step recovery, that were running this program. And the thing that really moved and really impacted me is I always felt like I was alone, and I didn't want to think about the childhood stuff. I didn't want to think about the early childhood up into the teen stuff. When I spoke at meetings, I just kind of breezed over it. Yeah, I was a foster kid, had kind of a rough childhood, and got out and went in the military. That's what I said about it. And, when I went to this program up in Malibu, California, I sat in a circle with 12 other guys, and we had exactly 5 minutes to share what our life was like before entering the military. And these are all vets with PTSD that were suicidal. All of them, dude, had been molested, had been beat up.
Yeah.
They had experienced neglect, all before the age of 8 years old. And
wow. How tragic.
Dude, was an eye-opening moment for me, right? Because that stuff happened to me too. And, I got molested from as young as I can remember by adults who were filming us, and then by my brother, and then in the foster care by my foster mother until she tried to kill me when I was 16. And I never had there was never a time in my life, in my young life, where something negative wasn't happening to me. And so, of course I wanted to commit suicide after not dealing with that.
Absolutely. The amount of trauma and the emotional baggage from all of that, plus identity issues. I was molested at a young age too. I haven't talked about it much, but it's part of my story as well. And we carry those feelings with us throughout the years, and we don't know what to do with them.
Well, and I had other things to blame it on too, right? Like the way I felt, I had the war to blame that on. Like I could hang out with the vets, and I went to Iraq in 2004, and to me, it wasn't shit. But I guess, during that time, it was relatively a dangerous place. It was no more dangerous than where I grew up, but I could hang with the guys and be like, yeah, I messed up because of that. Or because I made a mistake that took my friend's life when I was newly sober. When I was 4 months sober, I accidentally shot and killed my dear friend, and I went on trial for murder, and I was homeless afterwards. I could blame it on that. That's why I feel this way. And I'll go to therapy and work through these things, do all the EMDR, all the talk therapy, all the cognitive behavioral therapy, but I wasn't dealing with the main issue, man. And, I didn't realize how big that was and how much of an impact that had on my life until 15 years clean, And I guess.
Wow. And at what age were you then?
38.
38? That's a long time to carry that with you.
The average age of people disclosing, man, is 52. Most people way longer than that,
Wow. I didn't know that. I read a statistic just today that 3 out of 4 people have trauma in their life, one form, fashion, or another. And they don't know how significantly it impacts them, their behaviors, their thought patterns, their addiction issues. Do you feel that the trauma was a gateway to your addiction?
I hear people argue for and against that. Some people think that our brain chemistry might be a little bit different, particularly in the alcoholics sector. I was a pretty heavy duty alcoholic, and in the 90s, man, that was normal, right? Like if you were one of the quote unquote bad kids or the drug you just drank and smoked some weed, now if I'd been here today, it would probably be fentanyl and heroin, right? And back then, people might not believe this, but that was very unusual and uncommon for kids to be doing opiates in the 90s. And a lot more of us survived as a result of that. The kids now, they're dying, man. And
yes,
it's horrific what's happening to our fellow recovery
veterans or people in recovery.
Yeah, people, our family,
How hard was it for you to put your memories down on paper and transpose it into a text to put this book together? Was there a lot of pain? Was there a lot of healing? What did that look like for you?
It came in waves, man, because have you ever painted an oil painting or seen anybody do one?
Mm-hmm.
You know how you paint in the colors first, like the basic shapes, you paint over the canvas or whatever, and then you add layer and layer and layer. Then you get
to the intricate stuff, right?
Yeah, so that's what writing the book was like for me. I just started with a basic timeline, and then I started more and more. So there was ebb and flow to it. I did scream once while I was writing. I hadn't had a flashback like that in a very long time. You know, like I said, I was 4 months sober and I was playing with a gun, and I swore that gun was unloaded, and I pulled the trigger, and my friend, who was 3 years sober, he was sober longer than me and helping me through the steps and all that stuff. The bullet hit him in the forehead,
Oh,
arms. And when I got to that point of writing that part, I did scream again, man. And I'd come a long way through therapy where I'm okay watching movies, okay driving, okay doing the bright lights aren't so bad anymore. But reliving that stuff in that kind of deep, very textural, right? Like I feel and hear and see the things that are going on because I'm writing it, was very difficult and very painful. And I didn't do it to heal myself. I didn't do it for any cathartic reason. I did it so that I could be of service to others, right? Because I felt like it was an assignment and I didn't want to do it. And I still don't even really want to deal with it, bro, to be honest with you. Like,
for sure.
I don't want to be the, like, hey, I got molested guy, right? Like,
Right.
I didn't like decide in, some kind of careers class that I wanted to share about all the bad things that happened when I was a little kid. I feel like I'm assigned to do this. It's something that I'm supposed to do. And along with my regular life, tattooing and producing and being a father and a partner, I think that it's very important for me and other people right now to come forward with what happened. And not only that, most people don't even want to hear what we do about it. They just want to hear that it happened because it's such a heavy thing to hear and process, right? And I notice a lot of times when I talk about what I did, people kind of, oh yeah, whatever, like, because there's so much now around recovery and trauma recovery. So I'm here for someone that wants to listen, like I practice and I see a therapist once a week. I'm open and vulnerable. I look at my own actions. I look at how I conduct myself in my life, and I work on improving that. And I look at this overall picture, like keeping a body in shape, right? Like, we're not working out for the day that we're sitting on the couch. We're working out that we got to, hustle and move or maybe help somebody or whatever.
Such service work, service piece of our recovery. Absolutely. And it's so valuable for anyone in life to be of service to another human being, or for whatever cause that they have a heart to support, really.
Totally. And also, like, in today's age, people want a magic fix and a quick answer. The average attention span's 8 seconds, bro. I'm proud of anybody that's still listening to us. It's been 18 minutes. If you're still
thank you. I mean, it's such an important topic. Our system is broken. The foster care system has been broken for a very long time, and I've heard nothing but horror stories that come out of that, and the people that survive.
Culturally, we treat that with a scarcity mentality, right? It's the lowest bidder. It's the cheapest we can do that, and that's not how you treat children, man. You don't. No. They're not secondary and throwaways, and we don't just throw them away. But that's what our culture is doing. One of the richest nations in the world, man. And our kids, we throw them away at 18. And then did you know that 7 years later, we throw away their records?
Really? Yeah.
Like throwing out your baby book, bro. Just dump it in the trash,
Oh, man.
That's stuff that needs to change. And a lot of people talk about, like, they want to abolish the system, right? Like, take away foster care. Well, what about Gabriel Fernandez, man? Where's he going to go? That little kid that got beat to death. Where would have I gone, right?
Right.
No, it was bad. It was better than where I came from. The idea is not to get rid of the system. It's to repair it or build a new one,
There's such a need for it. And in today's world with the addiction issues and every other thing that's going on, we need a good, healthy system for our children. Other people's children,
go cheap on it. We're going to pay for it later with treatment and crimes committed. And I mean, we're going to pay for it either way.
Ariana says you look like brothers. We are brothers.
Maybe we are.
We are.
Hey, bro, my dad got around.
We could be brothers, couldn't we?
Yeah. Yeah. I found my dad, man. Me and my daughter did DNA 4 years ago and found out my dad was a college professor out in Connecticut. Dude,
really?
cared about people. He guarded Dr. King when he came to town, like no shit was done, and like made nobody hurt Dr. Martin Luther King when he was going to speak. And he smuggled revolutionary poetry out of Chile when Pinochet was in charge.
No kidding. That's pretty cool.
Well, he wanted to make an impact, you know.
Were you able to connect and?
No, he died before I ever found out who he was.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Well, you know, it was the 70s, man. A lot of stuff happened, and you know, my mom told the guy that she was living with that I was his, and so I'd always thought he was just some guy, some drunk guy, you know.
Right.
So
pretty cool. That's wow. At least you know your origins, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
I'm estranged from my family, so I've had other people take the place of my family. I'm the black sheep that my parents didn't want to deal with anymore, so I haven't spoken to them for a long time. But I've had other people come into my life that filled that void. Have you had that same experience?
Yeah, man. Yeah, the first there's a lot of tragedy in it too, though, man. Like, there was a lot of stuff I went through. You know, there was a guy named Dave Casey that used to buy weed from my foster mom, right? And he was such a cool dude. He had like a handlebar mustache and like wanted to teach me how to program computers. And he's like, you got to get into computers, man. They're going to be the shit. Like later in life, you're going to do really good. Get on these. And he died of an aneurysm when I was 14, man. And
wow.
You know, I was the first adult man in my life ever to be nice to me. And just boom, like that, he got an aneurysm and was gone. And
wow.
You know, and then I had another guy, the first guy I knew named Forrest. Like I met another Forrest in recovery. You know, in the meetings, you say, "Hey, my name's Forrest. I'm a so and so." Well, this dude said, "My name's Forrest. I'm a so and so," and I was 21 years old. I got his number and started calling him. We were friends for a long time, and I used to call him my honorary dad. And he passed in a skydiving accident. And then one more guy, Pat Conley, who was like a father figure for me, you know. Mm-hmm. And we lost him to COVID. But times in between, the space that I got to spend with them and the gifts that I got were well worth the loss in the end. Does that make sense?
Sure. Grateful that you had that opportunity for that relationship. Sad that it ended.
Yeah.
So
now I look for you know, because I'm a big boy now, man. I'm in my mid 40s, but I still look for that mentorship. You know, like I talk to older dudes, fellowship, stuff, and even guys that are my age or younger. Like, dude, today I was at the tattoo supply place, and my buddy Gabe was there, and he's like real mechanical type of guy, and I'm all, "Hey man, do you know what this thing's called?" And my Jeep, I think I got to replace it. And he goes, I don't think you need to do that. You probably just get spark plugs and wires. And we sat there and did that right in front of the tattoo supply place. Like,
nice.
He owns a shop and he's just there hanging out. And it was pretty cool, man.
That's awesome.
I feel lucky for the relationships I have, you know?
So I'd like for you to share the story about your trip to Burning Man.
Okay.
Because I'd like for them to know how you came up with the name for your book.
Okay. So, this is right after I went through a program called Save a Warrior for Veterans. It's a initiatory, mythopoetic, secular spiritual program, right, where they taught me how to meditate. And so right after that, I'm like, I'm volunteering at a group called Kids for Peace, right? And it's for young children, and they teach kids about being peaceful in the world or whatever. I don't know. It's my buddy's thing. And so I went to this fundraiser, and there's all these like, you know, actors and actresses and city bigwig people there. Like Wesley Snipes was there, and like
nice.
Well, and I'm sitting there drawing on like little tattoos with markers for $50, right, on these people for Kids for Peace. And I'm drawing one on this girl. She's really young, probably like 20 something at the time, or maybe less than 30, a Canadian. And I'm like, so, well, what kind of actor are you, you know? And she's like, oh, or I said, what are you doing here? She's like, oh, I'm an actor. I go, what kind of actor? She goes, well, I'm a voice actor. And I go, cool, for what? She goes, for a kids show. And I'm like, what kids show? What are you a voice actor for? You know, she goes down. She's like, I'm My Little Pony. And I was like, all right, well, nice to meet you. You know? And we're just talking shit. She's like, you should go to Burning Man. because I told her kind of just a little bit of stuff about what was going on. And I'm like, I ain't going to Burning Man. I'm sober. I don't do drugs. I'm not looking to hang out with a bunch of hippies. And she goes, no, I think it'd be really good for you. You should go to Burning Man. So I fast forward a week later, and Burning Man's in like 2 weeks. I'm in the woods in North Carolina meditating, right? Because I'm volunteering at one of these Save a Warrior things. And no, I'm in Kansas City, Missouri. And I'm just sitting in the woods, man. It's beautiful. There's this cabin. It's like dark. I'm tuned in, man. I've been meditating 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening. Starting to feel some relief. Still uncertainty about where my life's supposed to go, what I'm supposed to do. I got a big old beard. And I hear this voice that goes, I'm going to Burning Man. And I open my eyes. I'm like, I'm going to Burning Man. Okay. So I call my buddy that's going. I'm like, I'm going. She's like, you can't just go like that. You need a pack. And I'm like, whatever, I'm going. So
Hi, Paul.
I hop on my bike. I pack it up. I decided to take a book with me because I figured if I couldn't get into the festival, then I would just go out in the desert and just read or whatever. And this dude, he's selling tickets. He wanted like $1,200 for tickets. So I punked him and I robbed him. I gave him $500, which is a little more than what they cost. And he gave me a ticket. I got in, and it took me like 2 days to get there. Like I was pretty broke at the time. My business was failing and everything in my life, dude. I just let it all burn down. You know,
So just for people that don't know what Burning Man is, can you give them a brief description of what that festival is like?
It's a festival in northern Nevada where a bunch of people go and hang out. It's like 70,000 people. They build
It's in the desert in the Red Rocks, isn't it?
It's in a lake bed, man.
Lake bed.
Yeah, it's in a big giant lake bed in northern Nevada. And I don't even know what it is, man. Like I just know my experience that I had.
It's supposed to be a hippie fest.
Yeah, it's like a hippie festival. There's not a lot of law enforcement running around. You just do it.
Naked people and music.
Yeah, totally. And I went and I slept in the sober camp. They had this anonymous village, right? And so I stayed there. I got up in the morning and I started walking around the camp, and all I saw were like orgy tents and like people doing dope. There was some dude like all ODing somewhere, something else. Like it was just all bad, dude. And I started getting really like, what am I doing here? Like, why did My Little Pony tell me to come here? And why did I listen to
My Little Pony?
To the center of the camp, and it's the only place you can buy anything. And I bought a cup of coffee, and I just kind of sat down, and some girl, she's like, what's up, man? She's like, how you doing? I'm like, not really that great, you know, like, I don't know why the fuck I'm here. And she's like, well, what's going on? I start talking to her, like, I'm going to get my husband. I think you should talk to him. And he comes over, and I'm like, look, I'm not looking to party, man. Like, if something big is happening to me in my life, big for me. Everything that I thought was important is just not anymore. Like, I'm starting to rethink everything in my life and every decision I've made and what I'm doing with my life. And he goes, well, you know, we tend to be spiraling kind of people. He goes, you're in the right place. You're 1,000% in the right place. I used to be an Army Ranger. I served, you know, in Iraq back in the day. And, you know, I've been here every year. He goes, what you should do is you go to the temple and you volunteer. You start looking for what you want to see, and that's what you will see. He goes, this place is just the world, but it's just compacted. It's just a little compacted version of the world. And he goes, take this ticket, go to my camp. You can fly over the whole festival and see it from above. He goes, everything you need, dude, is right there. Everything you need is right there within. I'm like, all right. So I go and I walk back to the camp, and I start reading this book. It's a book. I can't remember the title of it right now, man. But there's a girl in the beginning of the book. I don't really like her. She's like 17 years old. She just like left a mansion in Malibu. She just slept with the guy that lives there, and she's honking a horn for him to open the gate. She rockets out on the PCH, crashes into a highway patrol officer. He arrests her. She goes to the hospital. They take her home. She snorts an oxy and ODs, right?
Wow. That's in the book you're reading.
I'm reading this book. Yeah, this is all in just like the first 20 pages. And I'm like, what the hell's going on, right? So she leaves her body, right? And when she leaves her body, she sees a blue angel, and her whole life flashes before her eyes when she sees the blue angel, right? And this is the blue angel that watched over her when she got abandoned in the alley as an infant, that went with her when she got adopted, and that when her adopted father was raping her, when she was only 12 years old, the angel held her hand and made it so it didn't hurt. And I just like remember going away from my body when bad shit was happening. And I was like,
you resonated with that.
yeah, heavily. I was like, whoa, I like shed a tear and had to put the book down. You know what I mean? Like I first saw the character, and here I am 20, 30 pages later. I'm like, I'm crying, right? And as I'm sitting there, like just sitting next to my motorcycle, I look at my backpack. It's kind of sitting next to me because I had the book in my pack. And there's a little plastic sleeve where my name tape would go. It's my old backpack from the military. The one I carried it in Iraq, and I had 2 packs. I had a bigger system and a small one. The small one just had like the really emergency stuff, the life-saving stuff, right? Just the little, you know, the adrenaline, the ambu bag, combi tube, those kind of things, pressure dressings. And there's a piece of paper there. And I pull this piece of paper out. What is this doing here, dude? And I open it up, and it's a piece of paper with a Blue Angel watermark on it. And it has a note from my little girl. It's T, Dad, love you, with moons and stars. And I could tell it by the style of her writing, it was at least 4 years old. It had been sitting there for 4 years. Like, that's why I went to Burning Man, dude. To sit there, that book, find that, and realize that my daughter, I believe, was part of the force that took me away from my body before she was born, you know, when bad things were happening to me. And she saved me when I came home from the war by being born, gave my life purpose. She saved me from committing suicide because I just couldn't leave her alone, even though the pain was that bad, you know, I just had to stay. And
you found a purpose to live.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
So,
did anything else happen at Burning Man while you were there? Noteworthy?
Yeah, it was cool. Like, I met my homeboy Jeff Key. You know, I made amends to him for the way I acted in the 90s in the military. You know, there was a very homophobic culture, and I didn't actively participate in calling people names or bullying them or whatever, but I stood by and let it happen. You know, I was complicit. And Jeff is a United States Marine who got, when Don't Ask, Don't Tell, before it was repealed, he came out on CNN. And he ended up getting outed of the Marine Corps. And he became a Broadway playwright, really cool, interesting dude. And
nice.
Time with him and hang out. Now, I'm not I'm not on the right or the left side of the political aisle or whatever. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I don't. Right. That shit doesn't make sense to me. I'd rather just draw pictures and be there for people and do the stuff I know how to do.
Absolutely.
I don't agree with being cruel to anybody for their sexual preference or their race or things that just are about them. You know what I mean? Their religion or any of that stuff.
Absolutely. So I want to give Pastor Pat Park a shout out. He's a veteran brother of ours as well. He's in Indiana. How are you doing? How you doing, Pat? I'd like to introduce you to my friend Forrest Lang, who's a veteran also. Be a good person for you to connect with on Facebook as well.
Awesome.
Sarah Sharilla says, hug and thank a veteran every day. Amen to that. Yep. Pat Park is in the house. So something that's sticking with me right now, with all your trauma in your past, you chose to go into the medical field as a corpsman. Did that add to your trauma, or did it help you do your job, or what does that look like?
I think that the stuff I learned as a Navy corpsman helped me out greatly and gave me an opportunity to be there for others, because one of the best things that we can do when we're hurting, right, is to be there for someone else, to be of service, to do something for someone else. And it taught me more ways to do that, right? And also gave me a little bit of credibility with other vets. Sometimes, like some of the Marines and other guys that are around, that the Navy corpsman can be trusted, right? Even though I haven't been a corpsman in years, man. Like, I was in a VA hospital a couple years ago, and there's this dude there, this Vietnam vet, and he had his hat on, his Marine Corps combat veteran, all that stuff, Vietnam. And I said, "Oh man, what'd you do in the Marine Corps?" He goes, "I'm a machine gunner." And I'm looking at this dude, I'm thinking, you haven't held a machine gun. Machine gunners. So I don't want that to be like who I am, the entirety of my personality, right? That I was in.
Sure.
But I feel able to utilize that a little bit to win over the trust of somebody who's hurting and somebody who's suicidal, because
Absolutely. I agree.
when the shit was bad, they went and got doc, right? And so I already have a little bit of that rapport, and I do my best to respectfully use that to hopefully continue to be of service in that way, a little bit as like a low level psych assistant or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
The doc, let's help like patch him up and just keep him alive for a little while and show him the self-care stuff that we can do on the way, and
Absolutely.
and all this trauma stuff, right? Like all this other stuff, all the growth stuff, all the personal growth stuff. I don't think any of that shit works if we're not clean and sober, if we're an addict or alcoholic, man. Like I've seen people, and I've tried, when I was younger, I went to therapy and all that kind of stuff. And, there's all these wonderful programs out here for veterans, but I see like, if we're still boozing and drugging, man, like it doesn't work.
No.
It might work for the 5 days we're there, but it doesn't work unless we're clean, man. And, to me, being clean and sober is number one in my life. And I had to make it number one to get, I got clean and sober at 23 years old, man. And
wow.
That's pretty young to do it. But
it is.
I think maybe all the bad stuff kind of fast forwarded me to be beaten into a state of reasonableness, right? Like where I needed something, like I needed something because I was just on this destructive path.
So that the surrender was easy for you at that point. Is that safe to say?
I was already beaten to almost nothing, man. Like and when you get molested and tortured for that long out of your childhood, it does some damage, man. And fast forwarded my recovery, I think, and made it so I could get clean and sober sooner. And even then, it's been a slow road, right? I'm not the smartest guy. I'm not I was never a poster child at any rehab or any AA meeting or any of that. The good thing about those recovery, the 12-step circles, is they don't kick you out for not being perfect, right?
Right. Thank God for that.
but sobriety and getting clean is going to be ground zero for this stuff. And if there's someone listening that doesn't believe that they can because of A, B, or C, I'll tell you, man, or you think you can't stay. I went through a murder trial, man. I went through a murder trial not knowing whether or not I was going to go away for 35 years to life. And this was going to be my last little time free because I was out on bail. And I stayed around people in the program. I stayed grateful. I stayed of service. I stayed practicing the steps. And then I didn't go to prison, which I was thinking I was going to go for at least 5 years for involuntary manslaughter, right? They let me go, man. Like they not guilty on all counts. And they even gave me back my clothes and my gun and all this one tape. And, like you're free to go. And I had nowhere to go. I was homeless in Los Angeles after that. And you know what? I stayed clean and sober homeless. It was miserable, right? It wasn't fun.
Right.
Fun sleeping in the car and bumming change and trying to hustle and figure this out. But I went to meetings and I got a sponsor and I did the stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what, it's possible. It's possible to stay clean and sober, and I know that I know it's different maybe with the way opiates interact with our brain, and I don't really have that experience of being a heroin addict.
Well, thank God.
I've
got plenty of it for both of us.
Yeah. And maybe it's harder, I don't know. But it doesn't fucking matter what the odds are, right?
No.
Because dude, if we do the work with our whole heart, and if we just grab onto the hand of recovery that's out there, because there's always one or two hands of recovery that are there. There always has been, and there always will be. We're not going anywhere. Grab onto us and hold on and do what we do. You can make it. You can do this thing, and life can get good. Like, it was really bad. The long and short of my story is it was really bad for a long time, and then it got better really slowly over time. It was really good, and there was no magic pill. There was no special thing. It was just staying clean, doing the therapy, continuing to expand outward, learning practices, meditation practice, 5 pillars of self-care. You guys want something that took me 2 years to learn in therapy?
Bring it on. Let's hear it.
All right, man. Eat the food, right? Get enough sleep. Do your medical care and hygiene. exercise, and practice self-love. Those are the 5 pillars of self-care, right?
That's beautiful.
And
Yeah.
dude, 2 years to learn that. And that's a practice too, man. Like I missed exercise the last 2 weeks. I've been too busy, you know, like, but it's always these things that I know that I get to work on it. And the more I do and practice and apply these things in my life, guess what? The better my life gets. And I get to smile and hang out and not be, you know, yeah, I tell my story and I want people to know where we all do our experience, strength, and hope, right? And it was dark. It was dark and I shouldn't be here. I should be dead. But I'm not. And
no.
I'm living a good life, you know?
You are. I mean, you're doing amazing work and you found purpose on the other side of your pain.
Well, and also, the book also kicked my ass, bro. It was not fun. It cost me a whole bunch of money to do it. I did it right. You know, it took me 4 years from writing to publishing. About $60,000. I paid most of it off. I got 12 grand left. I sold less than 500 copies. I'm like, fuck, I shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? But like, it doesn't matter. I keep paying the debt, doing the next indicated thing, moving forward, sharing the story, and it works out. I know I have proof because of my experience, you know?
So the website for your book is www.angelbluebook.com, correct?
Yeah. And
okay, people drop that in the comments right now.
Thanks, man. You can get the book on Amazon too. But I get paid more if they get it from me. Now the hardcover is really expensive. Dude, the cheapest I could sell it, that Amazon would let me sell it, was $42 because I drew all the pictures in it. So dude, I spent so many hours like in between. I got one right here, like drawing all these pictures for it. And that part was healing, man, because like, let's see, that's what my foster mom looked like.
Wow.
And then I got one in here that was, you know, when I was deeper in homelessness and, you know, 16 and a half years old, living on the street. And I thought that a demon took over my body. And I was just on LSD, weed, and beer. But it was pretty dark what that felt like, man. I had
wow.
That's what I looked like to myself in the mirror.
I can relate to that.
And then this one back here is kind of dark, but this is where I was sitting in the desert. Which way do I go? This way.
There you go.
With my motorcycle and stuff. I drew that one with dots. That one kind of looks not the best here, but it took me like 3 months to do it. It's not.
It looks great, man. I've seen some of your tattoo designs. You're gifted. How long have you been drawing? When did you discover you had that gift?
Dude, I love drawing since I was little. It's a great escape, man. I wasn't really allowed to have a lot of toys or watch TV or, you know, like my life was real weird, man. It was like a born again, right-wing Christian culty kind of church we were in. And there was a lot of like beatings and shit like that. And stuff was just ugly, man. So I used to just draw my escape, you know. I used to like to draw like, you know, there's 2 trees drawn and here's the regular world. You go through the trees and there's a castle and a dragon and all that kind of stuff. And
yeah,
always loved to draw. It was something I always loved to do. And something I wanted to do when I grew up, to be an artist, you know. And I ended up accidentally stumbling into tattooing when I was working with the Marines in Iraq. The boys all pitched in and bought me tattoo equipment. Dude, you know, I started one of the first AA meetings. I believe it might have been the first AA meeting in Mesopotamia.
Nice.
Iraq in 2004. I got I was the only sober guy in my company, you know. There was some other Marine who was a mechanic who was sober, and we started a little AA meeting. And then I left to go around the Sunni Triangle with my guys, and I came back, and dude, there was like 20 people in the meeting. It was rad, dude. It was really cool.
That is rad.
Yeah, there was even like some sergeant major who flew over from freaking Baghdad to go to the meeting. It was rad, dude.
That is so cool. Mesopotamia, huh?
Well, you know, Iraq, it's the cradle of civilization, man. Like that area, that's where the first civilization started. There's a lot of beautiful history in that area, and unfortunately, a lot of turmoil in that area too.
There's a lot of bloodshed in that area over the
Well,
decades, centuries, and all of that.
industrialization's killing the human spirit, man. It's been doing it for 10,000 years. So,
Yeah.
you know, we're the result, right? And some of us are lucky enough to be able to come off all the substances and, you know, extricate ourselves from enough of the toxicity to be there for others, you know?
Okay. Can you describe your pathway to healing through your trauma? What direction you went? What you found effective? What you didn't find so much value in?
Yeah. So I didn't find a lot of value in making excuses for myself, that I was unable to do A, B, or C because bad things happened to me, that I was unable to have a good relationship and just to give up because there was no way I could have one, that I wouldn't be able to have a good career. I didn't find value in that, right?
Yeah.
I found value in going, okay, these things happen and these are obstacles. So the obstacle becomes the way, right? So maybe Johnny next to me doesn't have to carry 400 pounds when he walks across the street, and I do. But we still both want to get to the other side of the street. So maybe I need to exercise my legs. You know, maybe I need to ask for help. Maybe I need somebody to lean on to help. Maybe I can ask Johnny if I can put my hand on his shoulder and walk across the street, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then learning how to do the same for others. I've learned that the way out is through. I've learned that vulnerability is key. I had to go and Google emotions when the shrink started talking to me about emotions. I'm like, I don't know what that means. And so I Googled them to see what they were and figured out what these emotions are. I learned that telling the truth is way better, even if it's not terrific, than it is to paint a shitty lie, you know, just to make myself look better.
Yeah, I agree, because I feel that honesty is the antidote for my diseased thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, in the beginning, I learned if I told a lie, I had to go like, hey, I just told a lie. I'm sorry. I just lied to you about that thing that happened. Here's what really happened. You know what I mean?
Thank you, Brian. Recovery is getting more attractive to so many today.
That's good. That's good.
It is. Brian's in California also.
Oh, awesome. What part of California are you in, Brian? I know there's a little delay on these things, but
There's a 30-second delay from real feed time to when it shows up on Facebook.
yeah.
But yeah, Brian is
It's my dog. Come here. Come here, Captain.
It's your dog?
Yeah.
What kind of a dog?
He's a Shiba. He'll come in here in a second.
That's awesome.
Little Shiba, like a miniature Akita.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it. So what are your thoughts on service animals and therapy dogs?
They're terrific, man. We don't deserve dogs, and people
Right.
do, you know. They're such incredibly wonderful creatures, and the thing that I love, I was talking to my other buddy about that the other day, that I love about dogs, right, is that my dog doesn't care how much money I have.
No.
Care if I messed up in some big arena, or if I had some big project that failed. He doesn't care if the car broke down. He doesn't care if I'm happy and I got $1 million. Like, he doesn't care about, he's just happy to see me, and he loves me unconditionally, and I get to give that to him in return, you know? Like,
Absolutely. Animal therapy is very valuable, and it's a real type of therapy. It's connection. If we have a hard time connecting with humans, we can connect with animals for sure.
even if you can connect with humans, animals are just better, you know?
That's right. So Brian says he's in the Mojave Desert, Victorville.
Victorville. Right on. Spent a little bit of time in Palmdale.
My buddy Brian, I think you got 8 years now, Brian, 7 or 8 years, and he's managing sober living homes, and he just started working with the probation department. He's an ex-offender as well. So I love to see our people alive and thriving and living their lives, and their dreams coming true for them.
Yeah.
Recovery is such a beautiful pathway. It's simple, but it's not easy, right?
That's true. Yeah. The most simple things are typically not very easy, you know, like tell the truth.
I agree with that 100%.
Stay in forgiveness, right? Like, a lot of people talk about forgiveness, right? And we talk about resentment, we talk about all that stuff, but I was really confused as to what forgiveness meant for a very long time. I thought that meant that I had to be their friend, or that whatever they did was okay, you know. And when someone wrongs us, sometimes we carry a resentment because they wronged us, right? And so the resentment is not the wrong. It's not the impact. It's not like, that's not the actual hit. The hit happened and it's over. I'm still carrying the resentment, and I get to choose whether or not I carry it, right? And the way I alleviate resentment is look and see if there's anything in me that reflects that person, right? But that's not forgiveness. Forgiveness is one more step. It's just eliminating revenge, abandoning revenge.
Wow, that's a good one. That's a good nugget right there. I love that.
I looked in the dictionary, man. I was thinking about it for like a super long time, and I looked it up, and it said to eliminate feelings of resentment and to discontinue revenge. And the hardest person to do that for is myself, right? Because I made some mistakes in my life, and I've messed some things up. And a lot of times I'll be punishing myself without even realizing it, by like not giving myself enough food, not giving myself enough rest, not giving myself exercise, not taking my butt to the doctor when I'm supposed to go, right?
Right.
Fun. And those 5 pillars of self-care are they're the opposite of revenge to me, you know, because I don't have to see you anymore, man. I don't have to see any of the people that molested me. I don't have to see the guy that cut me off in traffic, but the person I do have to see every day, I go to sleep with this person, I wake up with this person, and I get to learn how to treat this person right. And when I do that, I'm able to treat others in my life better and create more positivity and more happiness.
Absolutely. A clear conscience makes for a soft pillow at night, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And we get to live that way today. What else can we talk about?
What about I want to know more about you. Like, you've got this sober living thing going on, and you're doing some good work. Like, is there any good hurdles that you've gotten over, or like any big wins or any big challenges?
Well, I'll put it out there right now. I'm 76 days back from relapse, and I'm rebuilding, and I'm doing things differently again. I've added more tools to my recovery toolbox because there are so many different pathways to choose from. And I've been a 12-step guy from the beginning, right? And just living in the rooms, I can hide out in the rooms of recovery. Recovery doesn't happen inside the meetings. Recovery happens when you leave. You take what you get from the meetings, and you interact with the world. I can honestly say that I've been through the process 10 times, 12 steps, all of it, but I wasn't living continuously by spiritual principles. And I'm learning to have a more active spiritual life, implementing Reiki, energy healing, meditations. You know, I'm praying more often. I'm being more mindful of my thoughts, my emotions, and being able to process things and process things. And one of the things that I've got a real good grasp on is not acting out immediately, because not every situation requires a response from me. I don't need to defend myself to anyone. I don't need to react. I can sit with it, practice the pause, right? Sit with it, analyze it, and if it's true, what am I going to do about it? If it's not, if it doesn't apply, let it fly, right? And through this process, I'm healing, I'm growing, I'm a better person today. I take care of myself. Those 5 pillars of self-care are huge for me today, because I can neglect myself in recovery as much as I neglected myself in active addiction.
Absolutely.
Because I get that feel good. I'm not just addicted to drugs and alcohol. I'm addicted to feel good, whatever that looks like. You know, it's women, money, sex, shopping, whatever. If it makes me feel good, I want more of it, right? And then learning about those things, and self-control, and leaning on my fellowship, and that's not just people in recovery. There's other people that support me that aren't in recovery, and we all struggle with something. You know, I think we're all in recovery from something, right? And I think the 12 steps can help anyone with whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there might be people that don't need any of it. They're just okay. I just don't know any of them.
Exactly. But,
dude, I wanted to share a tool that might maybe help somebody, because when I used to get real frustrated, I used to hit myself, man. Like I'll punch myself in the head, you know.
I've done that.
And I learned this really cool thing, bro, and it's worked every time that I put my right hand under my right ass cheek and my left hand under my left ass cheek and breathe. And that has defeated me hitting myself, dude.
Another version.
I'm so glad that you're back, and I'm glad that that you chose to stay here with us, man, because we need you. This world needs you. People need you, and I'm grateful that you made it, bro, because a lot of my homies didn't. They didn't make it back. So thank you for continuing.
Thank you. You're gonna make me cry. Stop. I really do appreciate that.
You're right, man, and the darkness wants to put you out, but it can't.
Mm-hmm.
Can't put out light with darkness, and I'm so fucking proud of you, and I love you, brother.
Thank you. I love you too, man. It's so cool. It's so cool having you on here. We're coming up on the hour point. If someone is out there, to keep me from crying, I got to switch topics. Thank you for your kind words and your support, and I look forward to interacting with you more in the future. And if you need any help with anything, just let me know.
I do. I need help promoting a book, because as soon as you go like this, hey, I got this book, people tend to shut down. I don't know how to do this thing. You know what I mean? I wrote it. I don't know how to promote that shit. And so that's what I need help with. And, if you want to find me, you can find me on the book website, angelbluebook.com. And you can also find me on Instagram at angelbluebook. You can find me on Facebook. I'm friends with Higgy here, and if you are on TikTok, I'm on TikTok as Forrest Lang. And I'm so, dude, what you're doing for me by being in the position that you are, I'm very grateful for. And
thank
I
you.
Turn the favor to you, and it takes a whole village for one of us. At the same time, just one of us can change the whole world. And we're actively doing that, and we don't get to see the fact that we have.
That's right. We create that ripple effect, and anyone that's caught in those waves will feel what we put out. And hopefully whoever feels it will create their own ripple effect. And that's how healing, that's how connection is. Connection is the opposite of addiction. And we need more people in our community loving, supporting on each other, and not judging. Fuck the stigma, fuck the judgment, fuck all that nonsense. Pardon my language, but it's unnecessary and it serves no purpose to try to take away somebody's value.
Absolutely, we don't dehumanize people.
No. Absolutely. I want to let you know I've been watching and reading your stuff for a year at least, and what you've done, your transparency, how you push forward. There's a lot of negativity on social media, and you weathered the storm through all the negative comments and the homophobic slurs and all the other fucking nonsense. And you're still here. You're still plugging along. You have your book published, and people are gonna find out about this. Everyone that's watching here, they know about it. Hopefully they'll tell somebody else. Hopefully somebody's sharing this video.
This is a for real grassroots movement, and there's no corporate sponsors for us. There's no we're doing this because we care. You know what I mean? You might have a little bit of people helping you with your show and stuff, but really, we're doing this because we give a shit.
Yes, absolutely.
For this to work,
Absolutely. Brian said flowers always need to be watered, Higgy. Brian's one of those guys that's been riding with me through my ups and my downs, more ups and downs lately. And I'm very grateful for the friendships and the people that are in the comments. I'm getting to build relationships with these people that are following my page, jumping on the lives, people that are sharing it. You know, we're all in this together, and no one has to suffer alone. I would like for you to give some words of encouragement or suggestions or something for somebody out there, a veteran or anyone out there struggling with suicidal ideation, trauma. You know, they have undiagnosed trauma that they can't they don't know what it is. So
All right.
what would you say?
First of all, there's nothing wrong with you, and there never was. There was never a thing wrong with you. The reactions that we have when we're in that are normal reactions to abnormal circumstances, right? Desire to die isn't even really a desire to die. It is a cry, a huge, gigantic cry for love and a yearning for authenticity in our life. It's a desire to live better, right? And we know from research and we know from survivors that every motherfucker that jumped off that bridge and lived, the first thought that they had as soon as their foot left that side of the bridge and they started to fall was, oh my God, I've done something wrong. I've made a
regret immediately.
Instant, terrible regret, right? So you don't, I cannot save you if you want to commit suicide, but I'm here to listen to you, and you are not alone, and I'm willing to sit with you, and others around us are willing to sit with you too. And
absolutely.
There's always something new and something more, and it might feel really dark and really horrible. It's like everybody's had a relationship end, right? And that painful abandonment of like the relationship ending hurts really bad right now, but it does get better and it does pass. It's the same with that interruption to life, whatever that thing is that happened that made us want to leave this life. It might be really shitty right now, but hey, I've been there. And I can tell you that it does get better, and it will get better, and there is hope, and there is light at the end of the tunnel. We wouldn't do this stuff if it didn't get better.
Absolutely. We wouldn't be here doing this, advocating for change, advocating for healing, and living our testimony out loud. www.angelbluebook.com, guys. Please jump over and grab a copy. I have a copy coming.
Yeah, I want to try to get some into recovery homes too. So I've been sending out some copies, to like these county run detoxes and stuff like that. So if anybody listening reads it and they have a detox or something that they think it would benefit the clients, please pass it on to them, man, to their program director, or reach out to me and I'll get a copy to them.
Yeah, I would definitely like to get a couple copies for the Peshtigo River Center here. Because these are our people, these are our brothers and sisters, and many of us. There's a married couple here, both veterans. The wife is from foster care, and she does it. She's a Reiki master, so she's very very in tune with energy work, and she's using her past pain and trauma to help heal other people. It's not just the veterans, anybody. This energy healing thing, it's a spiritual experience. It's something something that I had never experienced before, and I found a lot of value. Brian Woodland says my inbox is always open. I know that is a fact. How much is a copy? The hardbacks are what, 45, and the softbacks are 20.
95, I think.
Such a good cause. It's worth it for sure.
There's also there's a audiobook that I did. If you like audiobooks, I don't know how much that one costs. I can't even figure out ACX, but you can buy it. And then
did you read it? Did they record your voice?
Oh, I used an actor, man, to do it. I hired this actor. He's really good.
That would have been cool if it was in your voice telling your story, man.
I listened to a lot of audiobooks, and I listened to my own voice recorded, and I was like, nah, I should have it.
Maybe next time, all right?
Yeah, well, hey, you guys, there's also a Kindle version you can buy, and if money's real tight for you and you want to read the book, I'll send you a PDF for free, man. Like I want people to buy it, you know what I mean? And I want people to support the project that can, but if there's somebody like me, like I couldn't have afforded a book when I was on the street, and if it's just an expense that you want to read it and you don't think you could afford it, just hit me on my website, man, and I'll
absolutely. That's so cool. Thank you for that.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's not about the money. It kind of is about the money because
you got to cover costs, and
you know what?
You have hopes and dreams and projects you would like to invest in as well.
Yeah, but the message is the most important thing, and if I don't make a dime, that's cool. Like whatever, I would like to, but I would much rather get the message out, you know?
Absolutely. I just love your heart and your spirit, and you just being an authentic, real, genuine, caring guy. Thank you for that.
Yeah, man. So I think it was Matt asked if I had a PDF. Yeah, if you can't afford the book, man, just go to my website, Angel Blue Book. There's a contact button. Hit contact and say, hey, yo, man, I can't afford the book. Can I get a PDF? And I got you.
And I can tell you he responds right away, because I typed my address in wrong, and it wouldn't take the address. So he calls me and asks me about it. It was just a space in the wrong place, but he will get back to you. He's a real person. He's got a real heart, and you just heard his mission right there.
Yeah,
perfect. Man. Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. Anything I can do to help support what you're doing, please let me know. And then I thank you for having me on, man.
Absolutely. Hold tight with me. We can talk after I close this out. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you got something from this. I hope you shared it with someone that needs to hear this. This has been a great talk, great conversation. A lot of nuggets of knowledge in there. Definitely proof positive that recovery is possible. No matter where you come from, what you've been through, there is a better way. There is a way out, and you're not alone. So absolutely. I'll be back on Friday. I'm probably going to jump on a, hey bud. I'll probably jump on a live this week, and just use Facebook Live and maybe bring some people on with me. If you guys want to chop it up, talk about a topic, whatever, so I can get a visual on people that want to be involved and have something they'd like to get off their chest. They want to share some blessings that are in their lives. They're struggling with something. We're here for you. So I'm going to start doing that and have like a roundtable discussion. Anybody that wants to jump on, please do. But Friday, my guest is going to be Dr. Rob Kelly. He's the addiction doctor. He's been on multiple platforms on television, and he has Dr. Rob Kelly Recovery Group. He offers therapy. He's an expert on trauma healing, addiction issues. He believes that trauma is a gateway to addiction. And I concur with that as well. But the dude is awesome, very knowledgeable. It's fun to talk to. He's been on before, and we're honored to have him again. So everybody, please, one more time, give us one more share into a recovery group. Hopefully, if you would, please share it to some veteran groups as well. Somebody needs to hear what we just talked about, just to know that there's hope out there, and there's a light on the other side. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Forrest. Thank you for your service to our country.
Hold on. I got something for you.
Thank you for your service to our recovery community and the human race overall. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Hi, buddy. Beautiful.
That's my little howler.
Ow.
All right. Appreciate you.
You bet. Thank you, brother. I love you. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
I'll see you again this week.